38岁了。
I am 38 years old with a master's degree. I am a high-quality single woman. I originally thought that in Hangzhou I could find an equally high-quality bachelor. But until I turned 38 this year, I realized that those high-quality single men didn't even look at me. Now, the ones chasing after me are rural bachelors. In other words, if I want to get married, I can only marry into the countryside.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
完了完了，真的嫁不出去了。
Oh no, it's over. I really can't get married anymore. I'm already 34 years old. What should I do? My mum is still waiting for grandchildren. Do I really have to resort to buying sperm for artificial insemination? It's so scary. I want a man.
今天我就打假一下我自己了。
This is my undergraduate degree from Qingdao University of Science and Technology.
Useless for getting a man. Guys, I'm not trying to be messed up here. You got to understand these chicks, man. If you haven't seen my other videos, I just subscribe if you're enjoying this series. Subscribe. There's more coming.
And this is my master's degree from a private university in Seoul. You don't need to understand Korean. This is the official certification of my master's degree, stamped with an official seal. If I were to falsify any documents, I'd be in prison. I graduated with my master's degree in 2015. In 2016, I obtained temporary residency in Shanghai. Here are the property deeds for my 2 houses. This is the purchase contract and keys for my property in Jiaxing, Shanghai. You can see my fingerprints at the bottom. If the rain stops in a couple of days, I can show you my house in Jiaxing. I couldn't find the purchase contract for the house in Hangzhou, but I'll show you the property there in a few days. This is one of my BMW cars, and this is one of my electric cars. Although it's not valuable, it's genuinely enjoyable to drive.
我34岁，硕士学历。
I'm 34 years old with a master's degree, 2 houses, and 2 cars. Previously, I earned around 300,000 yuan per year, but now it's around 150,000 yuan. If I were a man, I'd be highly desirable in the dating market.
Right.
There would be many girls interested in me, and I could easily pick someone.
Very true.
But just because I'm a woman, I have little value in the dating market. The people others introduce to me are either financially destitute older bachelors or divorced individuals with children, or even unemployed rural singles. Does a woman lose her value as she ages, even if she's accomplished?
The answer is yes, ma'am. And hopefully this becomes, because we don't know how else to show this other than like reality itself. How many examples do we need? For everything that she listed there, you could find millions of chicks here in the US. He's saying the exact same things. You've seen talk shows of why millionaire women who can't get married, but look at them. They're high quality. To who? To who? To their bosses. Maybe if they're business owners, they're high quality to the market that they help service or their clients. But to a man, they just see a walking headache. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
That is the truth. What Tisha, what are you basing that off of? Trust and believe, trust and understand that if men were to run into women who had all these assets, cars, houses, but were feminine, cooperative, willing to marry those men and maybe even help lift him up if he's at a place where he's coming up, right? And I'm not saying that's what you should do. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying men can recognize they're not idiots, or men of her equivalent would have married her because they would have said, wow, you got all this stuff. I expect you to be this way, but you're that way. The market rewards you when you give the buyer, the men who are looking for wives, what they want, wife material. And if it doesn't, then it's just not going to happen.
My requirements aren't particularly high. I prefer someone over 1.8 meters tall, good-looking, fair-skinned, with big eyes, preferably humorous and able to have fun with me. It doesn't matter where they're from, but they must have their own career. Although each of these partner preferences sound normal, it's difficult to find someone who meets all of them. Her name is Jia Qi, a true Beijing girl. At 38, she still has a sweet appearance with a car and a house. Since she was young, Jia Qi has had a princess dream with her room filled with various Hello Kitty decorations.
Keep dreaming. Who wants to live in a Hello Kitty house? Maybe there's a guy out there somewhere. Maybe, but probably not.
As the only child in the family, her parents treat her like a princess, praising her even for washing dishes at home. Seeing his daughter getting older, her father often advises her to be more practical and not set her partner standards too high. Although Jiaqi still doesn't believe it's her problem, her desire to get off the singles market remains strong.
希望有一个人骑着白马。
I really hope that someone will ride a white horse, tread on colorful clouds, and come to me saying, I finally come to pick you up. You're my wife for life.
Do you know that roughly 2 million people get married in the US every single year? And out of those 2 million people who get married, 600,000 wish they had this. And what is this? It's a prenuptial agreement. No, a lot of people have never actually seen a prenup in real life. Now, to put that in perspective, we're talking about a football stadium packed with married people who regret not signing a prenup. A part of me does understand why so many future husbands make the mistake of not getting a prenuptial agreement, right? A lot of people think only rich people get prenups, and the process is often very complicated and expensive. In fact, when I got my prenup, I wish I had guidance on how to choose the right attorney, how to avoid costly mistakes, and also just how to walk into a conversation, a legal conversation, feeling confident. That's why I decided to create fathershaverights.com. If you need a prenup but don't know where to start, our step-by-step guide can help. Get the questions every future husband asks answered by expert attorney James Sexton and the lead attorney before you sign your prenup. At fathershaverights.com, we've simplified the entire process for just the cost of a couple of coffee dates. No need to just take my word for it. You can check out hundreds of reviews of husbands who've prepared for their prenups the right way. Don't wait. Timing is everything when it comes to prenups. Hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your prenup guide today, and you get 25% off. All right, guys, that's it. Let's get back into the video.
我对物质可能看得不是那么重。
I might not place too much emphasis on material things. My bottom line is that she should be able to afford a down payment in Beijing. That's my bottom line. If I were to pursue a girl the same age, to be honest, I might feel a bit shortchanged because, in my opinion, a girl's most precious asset is her youth.
He doesn't want to feel shortchanged.
How intense is today's dating scene in China? Take this 37-year-old female master's graduate, Huang Yan, for example. She was once a top student and campus beauty. Growing up as an only child in a well-off family, Huang Yan received meticulous care from her mother throughout her schooling. Her father insisted she keep her distance from boys and focus on her studies. Over time, this led Huang Yan to have little interest in dating, and she never cared much about others' opinions on the matter. Graduating with excellent grades from medical school, Huang Yan smoothly transitioned into becoming a doctor at a top Beijing hospital. At the start of her career, she was young, beautiful, and had excellent qualifications, leading her to have high standards for her partner. After several unsuccessful blind dates, she finds herself at 37, feeling the pressure from her parents and worrying about not being able to find a spouse.
See, why are you pressuring her? It sounds like they're encouraging these women to do the same thing that a lot of people are encouraging women to do here in the US. Prioritize their career. Because you can always get a man, but they don't know that you can't. They don't want to believe that men actually think about fertility, actually think about youth, and they'll call you some type of a creep if you value those things. Okay.
With the help of a best friend, her marriage agency introduced Huang Yan to a divorced PhD graduate who was 4 years younger. They decided to meet at a tennis court since both of them enjoyed sports.
Okay.
The man wore black-framed glasses, had a square face, and a robust physique.
Okay.
After an exhilarating game of tennis, they both felt invigorated. He went by the name Lao Han. Huang Yan felt a slight attraction towards Lao Han. They then went to a hot pot restaurant for dinner.
Nice.
Initially, they got along quite well, but during their conversation, Lao Han lost interest in Huang Yan.
那个海燕老师跟我简单介绍了一下你。
Lao Han.
They said you'd never been in a relationship before.
Huang Yan. That's right, I've never been in one.
Do you mind that I've been divorced?
Huang Yan didn't directly answer and pondered for a moment. I think the person matters more. Lao Han persisted.
I don't know how girls view this matter.
Feeling that the topic was too sensitive for a first meeting, Huang Yan ended the conversation with just a few words. After Huang Yan changed the subject, Lao Han's demeanor turned cold. He felt that Huang Yan wasn't being sincere enough and couldn't discuss the matter with him openly.
That's kind of crazy, right? Being a doctor and never had a relationship in your life to be that focused on school is kind Kind of odd, right?
He felt she wasn't interested in understanding him or discussing their future together. The blind date ended shortly after. For Lao Han, his previous marriage didn't work out well. Besides looks and physique, his ex-wife wasn't suitable in other aspects and didn't bring warmth to the family. Now he wanted to find someone who could take care of the home, a mature woman to settle down with. On the way home, Huang Yan discussed Lao Han with her best friend. It was evident that Huang Yan still had some interest in Lao Han and was willing to continue getting to know him. However, when she tried to add Lao Han's contact information to her phone, he declined. Feeling confused, Huang Yan wondered why things couldn't continue. Her friend analyzed the situation, saying that when Lao Han asked how she viewed his divorce, she responded with an indifferent attitude. Lao Han felt she wasn't mature or sincere enough, so he didn't see the need to waste time.
Right.
Furthermore, besides the difficulty in getting married, the emergence of single women may be more due to not wanting to marry. They hold an attitude of not settling or forcing themselves into marriage. I was born in 1980.
I'm sorry, I got to say something about that. That makes a lot of sense. You've never been in a relationship before. You don't know how to communicate. You don't know how to make somebody within a relationship feel heard, listened to. Yes, these things matter within relationships. And you screw yourself, which is why it's crazy that there are a lot of women in the West and apparently in China as well who think, okay, let me focus on my career and then I'm going to become a wife, when you haven't practiced that wife part.
83, so I'm 40 years old this year. I'm single with no children, and I think I might end up being single for the rest of my life. Recently, many people have been introducing potential partners to me, but I've declined all of them. I'm not very interested in meeting new people, as getting to know someone from scratch feels exhausting. And if it doesn't work out, it's just a waste of time. In the eyes of many single women, economic stability is one of the important factors for a stable marriage.
Right.
Therefore, the phenomenon of brides requesting dowries before marriage is quite prevalent. But the high cost of dowries has skyrocketed marriage expenses, causing many young men to hesitate. There's even a girl demanding a dowry of 5 million yuan. Such a demand undoubtedly caused a huge uproar in the matchmaking market.
What's 5 million yen in stock? Miss Coffee, what's 5 million yen in dollars?
All right, love. Let's convert that currency. As of the most recent exchange rate, 5 million yen Chinese yuan renminbi, approximately equal to $687,000 USD.
Out of her mind. Plain and simple, out of her mind. This is a bridal price, right? This isn't like yearly net worth. Even if it was yearly net worth, she would still be probably delusional based on what we see here.
Do you expect a dowry for your marriage? Of course. Can you give us an estimate of how much? I think with my qualifications, it has to be at least 5 million yuan. Could you tell us about your situation? I prefer a man who is 1.8 meters tall, owns a house and a car, and earns 1 million yuan annually. I meant your personal qualifications, not your criteria for a partner. My personal qualifications? I have a bachelor's degree. I'm 170 centimeters tall. I live with my parents, and I work as a receptionist with a monthly salary of 3,500 yuan. After the video was released, it sparked heated discussions online. Just grow old slowly in the sweet anticipation of love. Some people mocked, you should marry an alien instead. In recent years, the number of single women in China has surged. According to statistics, there are currently about 116 million single women in China, forming a unique social trend. Among them, the increasing number of unmarried female white-collar workers are referred to as high-quality single women. According to the prevailing Chinese saying, they are left alone because they are outstanding. High-quality single women often have a relatively high social status.
What? They are left alone because they are outstanding. I hope you guys are catching on to the wordage and delusion here to coddle these chicks and what's really going on here.
Are economically independent and pursue freedom in life. But this group also faces significant negative societal judgments. Today, female white-collar workers in the workplace have more freedom and choices, but they still face considerable pressure and distress regarding marriage. They are often pressured by parents, relatives, and friends to get married, to stop pursuing their careers, lower their standards, and stop being so picky about potential spouses. Because usually, successful women like these are looking for partners who have better economic conditions and higher social status. They hope to find successful men with annual incomes of tens or even hundreds of thousands, or who own multiple houses and have various requirements regarding height, personality, etc. But truly outstanding men are few in number. As a result, the age of these leftover women keeps increasing, but their ideal partners never appear. Their mentality of preferring to remain single rather than settle for less keeps them persistently single. In the long wait, youth fades away irreversibly. What causes anxiety among older women is that, compared to men, women's fertility is naturally limited by age. Medically, pregnant women over 35 are considered to be in the category of advanced maternal age, while men can still have normal fertility even into the 70s. The consequences of advanced maternal age, such as a 5-fold increase in the probability of congenital deformities in newborns and an increased risk of maternal complications, are even more worrying and frightening for many women. Clearly, the natural structure of women's bodies cannot be altered, and this is one of the key factors that strikes many single women.
Hey, that's it so far for this video. It sounds like they're in for a very hard, rude awakening. Right? That's what it sounds like to me. Again, guys, this is over 100 million leftover women in China, 38-year-old master's grad opts for rural old bachelor. Hey, guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod to my currently engaged or soon-to-be married men. If you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link pinned to the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.